My name is Isidro Zepeda, and I go by the name of Huitzilin Maiz. It is an honor and privilege to be here as a witness to this moment with everyone that is here today.
Este mito está fragmentado. It is a shapeshifter moving across time, spaces, and consciousnesses. It sheds its masks and leaves its trails of mirrors planted so that future generations conozcan el camino. With earth designs, eagles made of coal, this myth flickers from uncolonized fragments of existence. Representa libertad, cruza fronteras y mundos paralelos, cruza pluma y papel. Zumbando de tinta negra y roja traspasa realidades infinitas. On its peak it carries a fire, which holds the seeds of all creation. Its story consists of multiple voices, languages, identities, and cosmovisions. This is the story of dreamers, the myth of the children of the corn. El mito está incompleto. Al principio se ve como pez bajo agua. Sus colores aparecen y se desaparecen. Se pierden en un mundo visible y no visible.
Some have defined the concept of Aztlán as a geographical expression. For me, as well as others, have defined it as ontological, a way and state of seeing, communicating, and existing within infinite times, spaces, and consciousnesses, as well as epistemological, a way of producing knowledge, a way of conserving knowledge, a way of passing down knowledge. It is also a prayer, bringing together the sacred elements, fire, earth, wind, and water, that brings forth a new dimension, shift, movement, one awakening the creative elements within indigenous people. Its colors, songs, and images move like a rainbowed serpent from the deserts, oceans, and mountains. They also come from the stars and infinite darkness. They embroider themselves beyond these rituals and into the poetry, into the graffiti art you see in the barrios, into the slam poetry, into the spoken word, into literature, into music, into film, into all these various diverse creative outlets, creative expressions that speak of another world hidden within, a world preserved, conserved, a world codified in the underground, the foundation of what we perceive as a modern world, a world resisting coloniality, a prayer whose fire refuses to be extinguished and continues to speak through the creativity of future generations. We have adopted new weapons to continue fighting the invisible and visible wars inherited by our people. This piece symbolizes a continuation of communicating our epistemological and ontological traditions within virtual reality, permeating yet again another layer of reality, landscape, dream, vision, prayer. We will continue to codify our histories, our sacred stories within all times, spaces, and consciousnesses we encounter. We will continue to express. We will continue to resist.
Our ancestors planted a vision with fire, water, and earth. The wind was a witness, and it carried their message. It spoke to the leaves, feathers of nature. Their message was threaded into their bastones and then transmitted to the roots, los pulmones de la tierra. Ahí en el centro de la madre tierra dibujaron este tiempo. In the coals of the sacred fireplace they harvested the prayer of fire, and at sunrise fueron testigos del nacimiento de nuestro Padre Sol, Tonantzin. The sun threaded his golden heart into their children's faces, into their voices, into their language, into their clothes, into their instruments, into their altars. Our ancestors threaded the cosmovision of multiple universes into the ontological receptors of future generations. Por eso brillan de oro los hijos, las hijas del sol, children of the sun, the eternal flower made of fire, pollinated with Aztlán. The children were blanketed with the love of their abuelas y abuelos for endless times.